Let's talk about exercise. Turning 50 this year, and I've been pretty good about keeping up with my exercise. And I wanted to share some of the habits that I have, some of the tools that I use. Maybe it'll inspire you. I always tell people, which is that I really got in shape now at the end. I would say at the end of my life, not at the end of my life, at the kind of at this older age, right? I'm turning 50 this year, but I'm in the best shape of my life from a physical standpoint. I read a book a few years ago called The Power of Habit, and I think that set me off on a really good place. And I've been doing a lot of exercise and weight training and things like that. Read a bunch of other books about the importance of building a little muscle as you get older, keep you up with doing things. So I wanted to share what my routine looks like right now, and maybe it inspires you. And for those of you who are much more advanced than me, maybe you could throw some pointers in the comments, tell me what I could be doing, should be doing, or maybe what I'm doing wrong. So my first thing is I don't like going to the gym, but I'll tell you why. But that's really about, for me, it's about friction. I don't want, for me, driving to the gym is a lot of friction, not just because I have to pay, but because I have to drive there. A lot of work. I think that everybody has a different situation. I live in the suburbs. If you live in an apartment and the gym is easy for you, or if you're simply the type of person who gets inspired by the gym, then good for you. But for me, it's really about getting to the exercise as quickly as possible, which is about creating that habit loop. So what I do about 4 to 5 times a week, I'll go into my garage and I open up an app called a Nike Training app. It's 100% free. I'm not doing any ad for them here. I just think it's nice. There's a lot of workouts on there. There's probably something that you pay to get something extra, but I just use. I think that a lot of men are and women are probably really working on this midsection here. So I use the apps that have to do with ab workouts, and I start with that every single day. I want to say every day, but sometimes maybe 2 days a week I skip. But I do that, um, and then that gets me started. It's about 10 to 15 minutes. That is the hardest part because once I do that, it propels me. That's kind of like the trigger. After that, everything's just faster and easier. So I do that either a 10 or a 15 minute. I really have two of them. I'll put them on screen if you want to know which one specifically I use, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of apps on there, or sorry, a lot of workouts on there that have to do with, with other types of exercises and training. It's a really useful app, and you can do most of it for free. So I would recommend it. Then what I do is dumbbells. I've been weight training for years on and off, and I found that dumbbells just work for me. They're easy, they're somewhat portable, um, and I am able to keep them, relatively simply in my garage. I found this sheet of paper that I printed off the internet that just some very basic dumbbell exercises, and I kind of build off those. I've watched a lot of videos, but I pretty much stick to the basics. Splitting between back and biceps, chest and triceps. But I've also started now to like isolate and just do all chest one day, all tricep another day, all bicep another day. It just kind of helps me keep it interesting, keep it fluid. I think that just doing that in a kind of a circuit exercise keeps my heart pumping. I keep a really close attention to my heart rate. I try to keep it when you know, when I'm doing any exercise, I have to, try to keep it under 160. It shoots up to 160, then it goes down to like 120, 130. So when I'm doing weights, it'll shoot up maybe to 150, and then when I see it going back down to 120 or something, I'll pick up and do another set. So I'm kind of keeping a consistent heart rate. It takes me about 40 minutes to do the ab exercises and then the weights exercise. Sometimes I push it to 50 or an hour, but usually 45 minutes a day. And then I walk. I walk at least an hour, um, and walk with my wife. And sometimes And then when I go to work, I work at the university. There's my office is on the fifth floor. Never use the elevator. Always take the stairs. And I also try to go for a walk in the middle of the day. I used to take a lot of photos walking around, but I don't do as much of that. But I have kept the walking. Walking is number one. I used to jog probably about 2 years ago, but I know that it's a little bit harder on the body, a little bit harder on the knees, and I don't think I was getting a huge benefit from it. But I will still jog from time to time. I also love to stay active and do other things like that. But that's basically what my workout consists of. As someone who's turning 50, and maybe you look at this and you say, well, I could be there, or that inspires you. I hope it does. Um, I think that there's a book I'm reading on the psychology of money, but it talks about rational and reasonable. And I think that that's really important to consider when you're thinking about what you can do. Your rational self, when it deals with health, you might think, I should be doing this, I should be cutting sugar, I should be doing all these really extreme things, but you have to get to the point where it's reasonable, right? What's going to be reasonable for me? And I squeeze in this exercise right when I get up in the morning. So I will, my alarm sets for 5:45. I get up, go downstairs, I grab a coffee, and then I walk into the garage after my coffee, and I just do the exercise. I don't eat, because if I eat, then I can't do exercise, right? So I do the exercise without eating, and then kind of my reward, as soon as the exercise is done, I get to make myself a shake, and I will make myself a green shake, usually that has banana, blueberry, kale, walnuts, and I'll put the kind of the recipe for that if you want to see it in the comment in the description of the video. Food is a subject for an entirely different video, but I will say that if anybody's getting any inspiration, or wants to do some of these exercises with the hope of losing weight, I will tell you, and this is going to sound really strange, but exercise is not going to help you lose weight. I'm going to say it again. Exercise is not going to help you lose weight. People overestimate the number of calories that they burn, and then they underestimate the number of calories that they eat. So what happens when you exercise is that you feel, wow, I did that. I'm sweaty, man, I feel so good. And then you're extra hungry, and you tend to feel like you burned more and you eat more. I remember when I used to mountain bike, I used to head right to eat all this bar food right after you mountain bike. So exercising is not the thing that you think, even though people think of it as a way to lose weight. What you actually need to do to lose weight is be in a caloric deficit, regardless of whatever you believe, whether it's vegetarian or meat, and we won't get into that at this point, or vegan. I did that for 2 years. You need to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. You need to consume less than you burn, period. So exercise actually makes it harder for you to do that. It makes it harder for you to focus on weight loss. So I do intermittent fasting. I do believe that it somewhat works for me. I don't do it all the time. When I have a particularly, kind of, I feel like the pounds are kind of like I'm packing on. Maybe I didn't do as well last weekend. I didn't exercise enough, and I'll do, I'll take 2 days out of that week of 7 days, and I'll do, basically skipping dinner. So eat breakfast, eat lunch, and then skip dinner, go to sleep, or vice versa. I'll skip breakfast, skip lunch, and then eat a dinner, not like a crazy dinner. That's the only way that I have found to manage my weight. Also, obviously, eating healthier and cleaner all the time. If you eat vegan, for example, you generally eat less calories, as long as you're not eating, crappy vegan food. But the only way to lose weight is to be in a caloric deficit. So that's it. I just wanted to share my exercise routine in this video. I I do think that whatever you can do to reduce the friction and figure out the habits that you have that are preventing you and change them, to create the habits that you want to create. There's the book, The Power of Habit. Would recommend it 100% to anybody. Read it multiple times, study it, because I give a lot of credit to that book for helping me, be fitter, by changing habits. So thanks for watching.